Kev. Good morning, everybody. I feel a bit hoarse, not had a lot of sleep, but this is the Suffolk Crunch, and this is the Saturday sit down, looking back on last night's game at St Andrews. Birmingham City won, Ipswich Town somehow won. We escaped with a point out of Birmingham, and I got back to the car in one piece. Good morning, MB, ITFC. Hope you're well. If you're in the live chat, we'll hit a big target today. We're going to go for 300 likes on this video. Hit subscribe, and please turn on your notifications when I'm live. Good morning, Rainbow Tractors. Yeah, I'm a little bit tired. Bags for life under my eyes. Also, we're sponsored by Bad Shirt Club. Head over to the website and get your shirts, bucket hats, jackets. Use the code TSC30 at the checkout for 30% off. Matt Stannard, good morning, mate. I always say good evening on these. I don't know why. Hope you got back okay. I'll talk about that in a minute. Craig Thompson, he says, for the love of God, play Jack Taylor properly. I'll talk about Jack Taylor in a bit. Harry Lee, what was the atmosphere like? We'll go on to that. MB says, got a bit lively outside the ground. You could say that. Morning, Ben. Good morning, JT. Yeah, so how are we all feeling this morning off the back of the first league game? Disappointed, I think we can. Morning, Kev. We can say about the performance. Look, we obviously knew, and Adrian says, take a draw and move on and improve. We all knew it was going to be a really tough game last night. I think I was under no illusions going to St Andrews that it was going to be hostile. They're going to be in our faces, and it was going to be really, really hard. The lineup was Alex Palmer in goal, Ben Johnson at right back. Leif Davis was fit at left back. I think thought he was always going to play. Kev says we didn't play well but got away with a point. JT says even though we were quite bad, they still couldn't beat us. We still took a point. Onwards and upwards. Jonathan says morning, enjoyed the game even though there wasn't much football. Yeah, we'll get onto the ref. Don't want to moan about him, but Greg, a stormy Wellington, how you doing? Simon says that was a painful watch last night. Hopefully it's the kick up the backside we need to push on. Trev says poor performance. Ashton needs to get moving and get some players through the door. Right. So yeah. So Leaf was left back. Jacob Greaves, Dara O'Shea, Matasiwa, and Jack Taylor in the middle of the pitch. Sammy Smollett's in the 10. Jack Clark on the left. We will talk about his position in a bit. Chidozie Agbonne on the right, George Hirst leading the line. There was a big build-up, you know, it was loud, there was fireworks. And look, I think when you've won 44 games in the previous season, Connor Chaplin, what a legend. It's always going to be a tough place to go, you know. I think they're celebrating 150 years, their anniversary. They're used to winning, they've got that momentum. Kev says that they were physical, got away with some challenges, the ref was poor. Yeah, we'll get onto that. They've got the momentum that we had. Rock the Gorilla says, I knew it would be hostile, but flipping heck. Yeah, look, they've got the momentum that we had when we came up from, obviously, League One. And we are used to losing. This is the mentality that we need to shake off really, really quickly. We're in that funk of we're losing football matches. We've won one game this year, you know, away at Bournemouth, and we're in August. So when we go to Bromley on Tuesday, and I know probably everyone will say, it's not an important game, you know, the next game, Southampton's important. And we know that, you know, we've got to go to Bromley on Tuesday night and just win the game. Rainbow Tractor says, mediocre against a motivated team, didn't look sharp, looks like we're still in pre-season mode. It may need a few games to get the mindset right. Greg says we hung in there and got something. MBRTFC here says, hope that Brum fan enjoys his lifetime ban. What's up from Macedonia? How you doing? Game was terrible, watch, but we take a point. We know we can and we'll be a lot better, says Martin 88. Yeah, look, there wasn't a lot of football in the first half. Wasn't helped by the referee. Matt Stannard doesn't like the who when they read out the names. My hairline's more missing than my daddy. I've got a decent hairline. I'm nearly 50, mate. By the looks of yours, not looking great in your picture there, mate. Can't really see it, but anyway, welcome in. ICFC says the Bromley game's so important. So yeah, like I was talking about the ref, he didn't help the flow of the game. He was very, very picky from the first foul that he gave Jack Clark on their player in the penalty area. And from then on, it was a bit stop-start. I thought Ben Johnson got away with morning, Andy Porksmith Oliver. Typical opening game performance. The directives to the letter. William Jones says referees are all that stand between players and chaos. Trev says Brum fans are a joke. They wanted a free kick for every challenge. Hugh knows. Love the name. That was an extremely hard first game. Win at home, don't lose away. Toughest start we could have had. I'll take a point all day long. JT says I've got more hair than him. Paul says, thought we looked muddled and lacked in confidence. Jack Clark is not understanding his role. Smodix is not a 10. He's a second striker. So, yeah, look, it was stop-start. Ben Johnson, for me, was very lucky in that first half that he somehow didn't get a yellow card. I think I counted, at least 4 fouls. They were just niggly ones, and there was a couple there when he was inside their own half. He just needs to stand there. Just make the player make a decision. He dives in, he gives away a really cheap free kick, and it was probably like how the game went. We gave away a lot of poor fouls. Birmingham, they were obviously really, really up for it. If you watch the whole game, they were pressing us, ratting about, not giving us any time on the ball to play. And the first half, there wasn't a lot happened. I think Stansfield had a shot over the bar. We had probably the 2 best chances when Allsop's trying to play out. Yeah, we'll go on to that in a minute, Harry, the disallowed goal. Allsop's trying to play out. I thought they were... there was a mistake in them. Look, they played some good football, beat the press a few times, Birmingham, but I think if they're going to play that way, they might concede a few goals from it. And I think Sammy's got to hit the target there. He's absolutely levered it. When I think he's got a little bit more time, he's obviously put it wide. And then we had the Jack Taylor header just before half-time. Doesn't really get full contact on it. Obviously, him and Matasiwa were booked in the first half. I'm not quite sure how Jack Taylor gets a booking for it's a foul. He's been pushed into the hoardings and then he just reacts, which is probably a bit silly. Matasiwa got caught in possession, which he got caught a couple of 3 times, got to get his head up, and he's obviously dragged the player down. That's a yellow card. But yeah, the goal that I think it was Kyogo scores, it's a foul on Jacob Greaves. It might be minimal contact. There you go. The Shire Sharks 1962 could argue minimal contact for the first goal, but he's forced Greaves under the ball without making any contact for the ball. Free kick all day long. You've just absolutely stole the thunder, because that's what I was going to say. It's a foul. It might be very very soft. If you can hear me, hopefully you can. I was going to use my mic this morning, but it's dead, so it's currently charging. So apologies for that. Pete says, morning Richard, thought our midfield was poor. The new guy is not as good as Morsey, hardly put a move together in the first half. Yeah, so went in at half-time 0-0. Typical probably first 45 of the season. We could not get a foothold in the game. When we had the ball, we were a bit sloppy, I thought, in possession. There was no real patterns of play. Jack Clark struggled. Right, here we go with Jack Clark. What I will say is Jack Clark is a very, very good footballer, in my opinion. I think he's very technical. If you watch him when he played for Sunderland, he was a touchline player. He played out on that left-hand side, hugged the touchline. For Town, Jacob Greaves, I thought, was one of our best players, Hugh knows, last night. Jacob Greaves needs to fix up quick. He was caught twice the same way for both goals. Burgess isn't at the club anymore, so we just need to move on. MB says Jack Clark is so frustrating. Yeah, so for me, I don't think he suits the inside 10 that we play, from that left-hand side. Maybe he needs to learn the role more, and maybe in time he's going to be a lot better. But obviously, if he plays out on the touchline, that's Leif Davis's space. But if you watch the friendly at Aberdeen when Jaden Philogene was playing out there, he pulled wide and Leif was coming inside. So, yeah, I don't want to be too critical after the first game of somebody. I like Jack Clark, but yeah, there you go. Martin says we couldn't get the ball to Jack Clark in dangerous areas. If we can, he is a world beater at this level. Yeah, maybe, look, is he a bit weak? I don't really think he's weak. I just think it's like he's a wide player, you know. He works hard. There you go. Matt says, at Aberdeen, the Philogene-Leaf combo was immense. And it was, because it worked really, really well. And I know it's a friendly, but hopefully we can see more of that going forward from Jack Clark. Hopefully Jaden Philogene's going to be fit, so hopefully he'll be back soon. But yeah, went into half-time 0-0. You think you come out, second half. The crowd was not as lively as it was, but I thought we were very, very poor for the first 15 minutes. Couldn't get a foothold in the game. The goal is a real poor goal. Now, Alex Palmer, first off, I think he had 2 or 3 where he's just cleared it into no man's sort of land. I'm not sure that he wants the ball there from Greaves. It's a rush clearance. Jack Clark's never winning that header in the air. He's just not winning it. We've got caught a little bit. Greaves maybe caught on his heels. Kyogo knocks it over Palmer. Comes off the post and we don't really react. There's 2 players there. Stansfield pops it in. Good morning, Andy. Says we need to be massively better. Poor showing up at town. Mike says tough watch last night. Davis looked like his head wasn't in it. Don't really agree with that, if I'm being honest. I don't really think that his head wasn't there, but obviously different view from when you're watching on the TV. Matt says he doesn't like Palmer's distribution. It's poor. Pretty much every long clearance came back. It's always straight. Yes, he was playing very straight balls. Very straight balls. Got to get a bit of an angle on them maybe. But yeah, I don't think Alex Palmer is great with the ball at his feet. I've said that before. Martin says Davis just needs some confidence. So yeah, the ball rebounds. O'Shea sort of no man's land. They just react quicker. We go 1-0 down. St Andrews is bouncing and you're thinking, oh shit, here we go. You know, this is probably the one thing that we didn't want to do. Go behind in the game. But from that stage in the game, Birmingham literally, I'm not saying they parked the bus, but they literally just sat back. Morning Thomas, hard game. They were very, very well up for it. Same really how we were when we played Liverpool at the start of the season. Crowd loud, players up for it, take a point. Mike says Palmer floaters, need to ping it into feet, not sure he's capable of that. Paul says I think Leaf will be on his way soon. Where that leaves us, I really don't know. So there's a little bit of a rumour this morning from Alex Crook from TalkSport on the socials that Forest are interested in Leif Davis. For me at the minute, he's one player we literally cannot afford to lose at any price. You know, I think he's that important that we've got no Connor Townsend. Obviously, we wish him all the best. Obviously, with his ACL, that's a real gut punch. You know, you've done all your pre-season work, and in the last game, you've got no one near you, and you go down, and you've done your ACL, and that's probably your season over. Quickly, JT says he can't see Leaf going anywhere, no cover. Ben Hobbs says Palmer was a panic buy in January, good shot stopper, but nowhere with his feet. That's why he's played in the Championship all his life. Jonathan says can't see you selling Leaf with your left back shortage. Martin says get some wins, get some confidence. A lot of players will look a lot different. As you said, it's a big mind shift from losing every week, and that is one of the main takeaways. And I'll say that at the end. But yeah, Leif Davis, I can't see him going anywhere at this precise minute, and I don't think he goes anywhere this transfer window. I mean, there's other players that will probably leave, and we'll chat about them at the end after we've sort of broke down the second half. Hugh knows, honestly think we'll see a far better team in a month's time. We'll be better and stronger. Not many teams will get much at St Andrews. That could become a big point next year. Mike says we need Philogene back. But yeah, getting back to the second half, they sat back. We improved. We got on the ball a little bit more. A little bit all in front of them. We obviously make 3 subs. We bring on Connor Chaplin, Nathan Broadhead and Ashley Young. Now, I said to the guys sitting in front of me, as second half had been about 10 minutes before they'd scored, he would have been my first sub, Ashley Young. I think He's obviously got the quality, you know, and we sung to their lot. He's won more than you, which he has. He's won it all. He might be 40, but he's got the experience. He's got the quality on the ball. Don't think he'd give a pass away when he came on. He has to be the right back moving forward. Ben Johnson, not for me. Not for me at right back. He could slot in maybe in that right-sided midfield role for now. You know, Ben says Fort Humphreys was pretty good in difficult circumstances. Jonathan says you would need to get 2 left-backs in if Davis goes. Yeah, JT, if we play like that against Saints next week, it's probably going to end one way and we're probably going to lose the game. We won't get away with it again. But yeah, Ashley Young brings the experience, the know-how. You know, he was getting stick from the crowd. He doesn't care. You know, he obviously played for Villa. We will get into the Chaplin incident later on. We come into it. So yeah, Ashley Young is my starting right back. So obviously Sammy Smolix went off. Chendozi Bonnet went off. Look, it was a real struggle for him. 9 months out the game. It was a really, really big ask for him to play last night. You know, he's obviously back in pre-season, but I don't think he's anywhere near up to speed with in terms of being match ready. We can all go into the Amari saga. We'll have a little bit of chat about that, but obviously had a throat infection. Not for me. Not for me. Absolute BS. Not buying that. So he probably had to just do the job of Bonnet, you know. So fair play to him. Look, he's put in a shift. He's done 60 odd minutes and then he went off. Yeah, Smodix went off. Johnson and Bonnet. So Chaplin slotted into the 10. Jack Clark went over to the left. Nathan Broadhead, who was doing his job. Amari, that's what you should be doing. Get your head down. You might want to move. And then Ashley Young at right back. But yeah, look, we huffed and puffed, and then we made some more subs. Matasiwa went off, and Humphreys come on with about 6 minutes left of normal time. Al Hamadi came on for Jack Clark and went on the right, and fair play to him. You know, I thought he might be a bit raw, but he got the ball, he ran at him, he had one in their area. I couldn't really see when he was going to get a shot away, and he slipped over. But I thought he got stuck in. You know, I thought he got stuck in, and he looked up for it. It's not ideal at the minute he's playing in that role, but it's needs must. And then as we go into injury time, there's 8 minutes. I thought there might be 5 or 6, 8 minutes. And then MBITFC, if Mari does have a throat infection, what the hell has he been doing? Amari has to be going really soon because they can't use throat infections as an excuse for very long, says Martin. The Shire Shark, 1962. We love Amari to bits, but if he refuses to play, we should refuse to pay him. Pisses me off, big style, the way players manufacture a move. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Quickly, while you're watching, 106 live, we're going for 300 likes on this video, so make sure you hit the thumbs up button. It is totally free. You know, it's totally free. JVT, with only one player, new player in the starting 11. It's amazing how disjointed we were yesterday. We look poor for 8 or 9 months now. We'll do it. We'll sum it up in the end. But yeah, as we go into injury time, it looks as this just the game's going to probably peter out. We're putting on a bit of pressure. We get a corner. Obviously down the other end, didn't have a great view of it at the time. Deep to the back post, gets headed back in, and Lyndon Dykes, he's got his arm up in the air. It definitely hits his hand, and in today's laws of the game, if I'm reffing, which I am later on, got a game this afternoon, I cannot find the message. I know where I'm reffing at 2 o'clock, but I can't remember who I'm reffing because I've lost the message. Linton, 2 p.m. on the 3G. Anyone about in that area, come and have a look. You know, I'm not sure what the game is, but it's a friendly. But if I'm reffing that this afternoon and that happens, it's a penalty. It may be harsh, you know. We don't like the handball rule. We could say, where are you supposed to put your arm? But yeah, look, it hits him on the fingers. It's extremely harsh, but we'll take it all day long. 90 plus 5. Matt says, soft penalty, but if you watch the passage, he jumps up with his arms, then moves them towards the ball, which is why they're there when Greaves heads it. I don't think he knows a lot, Matt, if I'm being honest, about where his arms are at that stage. There's like Greaves and O'Shea, and there's Dykes and one other sort of pushing and shoving, and it's just, yeah, it's hit him. It's a penalty. Cool as you like from George Hirst, slots it straight up the middle, and then Q Bedlam. Connor Chaplin absolutely volleys it into the crowd, which probably, looking back on it, probably not the best thing he could have done. And then it literally all kicks off. If you watch it, there's an angle from the Birmingham end. As soon as he blasts it in the crowd, their two centre-backs, literally, they're just walking, and then they literally sprint over. They grab hold of Chaplin. It's just a melee by the barriers. Then a fan comes over and tries to smack Jack Taylor. Yeah, not a great look for Birmingham. You know, look, Connor Chaplin, maybe he's caused that. Maybe in hindsight, he's probably thinking that's not the best thing I've ever done, you know. Jack Taylor sorted him out. Andy Portsmouth, watched it on Sky. Honestly say, I haven't missed Don Goodman. I heard him getting a bit of stick. The Shy Shark, hate the handball law, but it is what it is, and refs not allowed to use common sense. It's a joke. Stephen, morning, says, morning crunch, poor game played like strangers. Yeah, so it's all kicked off then. We had 8 minutes. We played into about 101. Apparently we're putting in an official complaint. Gorgon Black says, you talk too much. Well, that is what this is all about. So if this isn't for you, I'm not quite sure why you're actually watching. Not sure. If you want to subscribe, feel free. If anyone's not subscribed who's watching, please do hit the button. But yeah, then we got a corner and we were pushing for the winner. It's on the socials, Trev. Go and watch it. The fan comes over the barrier. And yeah, the game ends 1-1. We got out of jail, if I'm being honest. And then we had to run the gauntlet, walking back to the car. I've been to a lot of football matches, right, since 84. Been following Town on the road since 97. I can safely say that was the most intimidated I've felt leaving the football ground. Walking back, the Brummie fan who tried to clock Jack Taylor. Yeah, so it was literally, we were literally walking into their fans, and there were some very, very unhappy people. I know football's a passionate game. I get that. I do get that, you know, but people losing their heads. I think there was a few scraps starting. Police were a bit further down. There was no police where we were walking. They didn't attack me. I had about 3 elbows in the ribs. One of them's tried to start on my 17-year-old Ollie, and I just told him to like, basically piss off. He's 17. What do you think you're doing? I just said to me, boys, keep your heads down. Just keep walking. And then look, we did meet some nice Brum fans. We had a few chats walking back to the car. Yeah, look, it's an intimidating place. I didn't go to the semi-final in 2001 up there, but I've heard some stories about that. So yeah, S says I only go to football for the fighting. Well, yeah, have a word with yourself. Joe Style says was a tough listen on the radio. Will happily take a point. Was not impressed with the Birmingham fans. Trevor says I remember when the Brum fan ran on and attacked Grealish. Kev says morning, Rich. I think we all thought it to be a draw last night, usually with Ipswich. Unfortunately, Birmingham, they got caught out. Don't knock a point. Let's get Akpom and a few more in. Paul says, yeah, yeah, the 2000 game, he vowed he would never go back. Absolute morons. Look, it's with any fan base, you know, you get idiots who are spoiling it for others. Yeah, Jamie says 1-1. I thought a fair result. I did say 1-1 in my predictions. But yeah, got back to the car, got home about 10 to 2. There you go. MB says I had a 10-year-old trying to start on me with his dad, egging him on. There, yeah, I remember that. The Peter Enkelman one when the fan ran on. So look, they've got a history up there. It's an intimidating place. I think they were trying to intimidate on the pitch last night, and probably off it. And I'm glad I've not got to go back there this season. Some of the comments in the chat. So yeah, but we'll take a point. We didn't play well. I think we all know that we didn't play well. And we've got to play a lot better. If you listen to Kieran in his post-match on Sky and on the radio, I think he sounds a little bit frustrated. You know, this is the trouble when you're relegated from the Premier League and your team tries to get picked apart by clubs. We ain't going to see the best of this Town team, and probably till after the first international break. you know, because we don't know where we are as a squad at the minute. We still need probably about 5 or 6. There's probably going to be Hutchinson, obviously, will go. Broadhead will go. You probably need to replace both of them. Leif Davis, obviously, there's now talk about him. Chuba Rakpom, does he come? Does he not? I think Kieran said they're hoping to get it over the line, but these transfers do rumble on. We've obviously signed Jens. He's not up to fitness. This is the problem. We're signing some of these players. We certainly try to sign some of these players, and the fitness is not there. They've not had the pre-season. Transfers are a concern, says Mike. Not impressed with Luke Warren so far. Can we get some deals completed? I think we need to be a lot quicker to getting deals over the line. Good morning, Sean. How are you? Did you enjoy the game last night, mate? So it's very frustrating at this juncture. You know, you want to have your squad up to speed. You want to have minutes on the training field, and we did look like a little bit of a team of strangers last night. And there was a comment in there earlier, like we've only got one player making his debut, Matasiwa. I thought he really struggled in his first game in English football. But look, it'll get better, you know. If we go through the team, Palmer didn't have a lot to do in goal, did he, really? Couldn't do nothing about the goal. Obviously, I said about his kicking. The 2 fullbacks, Ben Johnson. McKenna looks pissed off, says Mike. And I don't blame him, you know. He wants to get the players in the building, you know. He wants the players in the building. He wants to get to work. And at the minute, we are nowhere near where we need to be. Yeah, I thought, like I said earlier, Ben Johnson struggled at right back. Ashley Young will be playing against Southampton for me. Leaf, yeah, he had that one chance where he got in. Didn't know whether to shoot, didn't know whether to cross. Probably should have just blasted it. Trev says we missed Morsey. Yes. I did tweet last night. I would not have been letting Sammy Morsey go until there was adequate replacements in the building. Probably would have gone in the end, but I just had a notification. Benjamin Sesko is a Man United player, 74 million. Any other changes for Saints? Sean says, tired, M6 closures, Birmingham arrogance was on another level. Would I make any more changes for Southampton? Depends if Philogene fit, Mike. I don't think Abone starts again. That's a problem area at the pitch at the minute. So, yeah, I'll definitely play Ashley Young at right back. Possibly Ben Johnson might have to slot into that right midfield role. I don't think Jens starts. Be interesting team that they play on Tuesday night at Bromley. It'll obviously be much change. You'll probably see Humphreys and Barbrook and Kitpray and Christian Walton, and probably Ali Al-Hamadi gets a start up front because we've got to wrap George Hirst in cotton wool. I thought the 2 centre-halves were okay last night. You know, I thought Greaves, yeah, maybe got away with one on the first half, but I think it is a foul. Maybe got caught a little bit with the goal, but I thought he was our man of the match. Who do you think your man of the match was? Leave it in the chat. 2 midfielders. Matasiwa really struggled. Jack Taylor. I don't think Jen starts on Tuesday. If you listen to Kieran, mate, I don't think he's anywhere near on the fitness front. And obviously we need to build him up, as Kieran says. But Matasiwa struggled. Jack Taylor, look, I thought he was okay. Is he the answer long term? Not really, I don't think. He's good coming off the bench. He got an early booking. Gives you 110%. You know, he was in there. He was making tackles. But there you go. The 3 in front. Smodics didn't get in the game. He didn't link the play. He doesn't link the play like a 10 does, like Chaplin did when he came on, because he knows the role. He knows the patterns of play. Jack Clark, who I spoke about, thought he struggled. Bonnet, not fit, not match fit. Sean says, does the club put their foot down and make players honour their contracts, meaning Amari and Leaf Nathan to stay? We don't need to sell. That is not how football works. I think Leif Davis stays because I said he's so important. But Broadhead will go. He wants to go to Wrexham, but he's getting his head down at the minute. He's been professional. You don't want a player up here, Sean, who's unhappy like Amari. It's not going to end well. It's not going to be good in the dressing room. You know, so as soon as he goes and gets sold, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And it leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in the mouth how it's going to end, because Amari's been really good for 2 years, but that's your modern day footballer. Just hope his throat's all right, you know, this morning. Bless him. George Hirst up front, worked hard, battling their centre halves, got the penalty, you know, tucked it away. Subs, I thought made a little bit of an impact. I thought Ashley Young was very good, you know, like I said when he came on. Andrew Fraser says we really missed Sam pushing forward. Mike says Young man of the match purely for his interview afterwards, saying he played for the biggest club in Birmingham. Yeah, look, as far as last night when Morsey used to play, he used to receive them balls in front of the back four on the edge of the penalty area. He could spin. I didn't see that happen once, you know, last night. But Sam Morsey's gone. You know, we can all say he shouldn't have been sold and he should have been kept here until maybe we got the reinforcements in, but he's not here. We just got to get on with it. But yeah, like Ashley Young done well. I thought Chapper's done well. Even Al Hamady off that right-hand side in a role that he's probably not used to. Put in a shift. But look, we've got a point. We've got out of dodge. We will take it. We will move on. Bromley Tuesday night. Run right. Ashley Young looks sharp and composed. Start for me next time out. I think he's your right back. He gives you that leadership as well. I thought we lacked a little bit of leadership on the pitch last night. I know O'Shea's the captain now, but it's not just him. You know, you've got to have leaders in other areas of the pitch, and I thought we lacked it a little. But Young comes in for me on Sunday. But let's hope this week we can get some deals done. Maybe Amari goes, maybe Broadhead goes, but I think there's probably going to be about another 5 or 6 players coming in. Ben's Life says we were awful, didn't play well. We looked like we hadn't really played together. If I'm honest, to get a bit more momentum going, I'll play the same 11 for a cup game, but take Johnson out. Give us your favourite chant. We're not Alex Griffin. Mike says, do you think we have missed playing the hybrid right centre-back? That's nonsense, all this hybrid shit and 6s and 8s. No. Just play Ashley Young there. We were absolutely fine. What do you think's personally holding up the Akpom deal? I've heard wages, Kev. If we go up, he wants to be the highest paid player at town. So if you want him, sign him. If not, move on and get someone else in. You know, that is what I'd say. Yeah, I don't see us playing the same 11 Ben at Bromley. We can't be playing players like George Hirst at Bromley. He's too important to us at the minute. Ashley Young, he's won more than you. Yes, if you're a Birmingham fan, yeah, you are welcome in it. You are welcome. But yeah, other than that, poor performance. Got a draw, got a point, which I think we'll all be happy with. We'll do to 35 minutes. Anyone in here who's not hit the like button, who's hit the subscribe button, do that now, please. It's totally free. But yeah, it's good to be back. The season's. I don't think Muric plays Mike. If I'm honest, I think Christian Walton now. He's the number 2 goalkeeper. Muric, he won't be playing for Town again. I think he's another player we need to get rid of. You know. MB says, don't want Brum fans in here. They might start some fights in the comments. The Shire Shark and 62, always a tough opener. Take the point and move on. Yeah, I think that's the takeaway. You know, you've got a point. It could be a very important point come the end of the season. Was I impressed by Birmingham? Not really. You know, not really. I thought they pressed us well. They harried us well. The crowd were up for it. And I think St Andrews this season will be a very difficult place to go as an away opponent. So to get a point there, not playing our best with probably a weak lineup. JT says Jens and Azor went up to speed together. We'll boss it. I think we're probably going to have to wait for a few weeks till that happens. It's frustrating players come in and they're not fit. We don't really know what goes on behind the scenes. You know, we don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, and players have talks. There's other clubs interested. We only see it from our point of view. You know, as a fan, we obviously get frustrated because we want players in the building. We want the team and the squad to be up to speed from the kickoff, and we're not. The Shy Shark says, Birmingham are all bluff and bluster with the occasional kick, not overly impressed. Matt says, I do know McKenna often gets in at 6 a.m, bit of a workhorse. Ben says, still a chance Hackney comes in the last week of the window if Borough need the cash. Yeah, we've gone into that. Thoughts on the scuffle after the pen, bottles thrown, Clara smashing into Chaplin and a fan jumping the barrier right in front of the steward to throw a punch. Fines incoming. I'd have thought so. Like I did say, Run Right, I thought it was a bit silly of Chappers to blast the ball into the crowd. That's what kicked it off. But look, everyone's a human being, you know, and he done it in the heat of the moment. But I thought the ref he lost control of the game a little bit. But we're happy with a point. JC ITFC says, morning, Rich, smash and grab, we move. Andy says, how did the Brum defenders not got booked for launching into Connor? Matt says he just missed the goal. I'm not sure. Hugh Noge, agree, reference Brum. They didn't look as good as I'd expected and helped them being average at... They didn't look as good as I'd expected and we helped them being average at best. Mike says, who's your best three behind Hirst? At the minute, I would be playing Connor Chaplin in the 10. This is just now. I'd probably be playing Sammy Smoldick's off the left and I'll probably be playing Jack Clark off the right. That's at the minute because Philogene not fit. But we do need reinforcements in them areas. I just think Chaplin knits it all together. He knows the patterns of play. He knows where to be. Them little no-look passes. So there you go. Kev says ref was out of his depth. Yeah, I've spoke about the ref. I think he gave 38 fouls last night. I think it was ITFC in analysis on Twitter. 38 fouls. There was a foul every 2.5 minutes. So he wasn't great, but it's great to be back talking about referees, but with no VAR. And if there was VAR last night, 100% that would have been a penalty. So fair play to the ref for giving that. You know, he did have to look through a group of players and he's seen it. So Andy says man of the match was Greaves, which I agree with. Mike says Philogene left, Smodic central, Clark right. Look, we will see what happens. We've got the first one out of the way. The first one's on the board. The first point is on the board. I think today we've got Southampton Wrexham at 3. As my voice goes, and I need a quick sip of water. So we will see what happens in the games. Stan Blue, keep on writing. Lucky not to lose 3-0. If the first goal had counted, you would have been slaughtered. Birmingham substitutions let you in the game. Referee was shit. League One v Premier League teams. I don't agree that we were going to lose 3-0 there, Stan. You never looked like you were going to slaughter us, let's be fair. You know, I think that's going a little bit overboard. Were we lucky? Yes, we were. You know, we were very lucky. But that's football. And if you don't kill the game off, you know, there's always going to be that chance that the opposition might nick something. And we did. And like I said earlier, all the Birmingham fans will say it's not a penalty. All the Town fans will say it is a penalty. In today's laws of the game, it's a penalty. I'm sorry if that's the other way around. And it's given for Birmingham. We just have to take it on the chin. You know, did we deserve it? I've gone into that. No, we didn't. You know, so it's just how it is. Mike says Palmer didn't really have any saves to make. Brum didn't create anything. Matt says Birmingham were more well organised than us, but didn't blow us away. As with last season, our mistakes led to the goal. Other than that, not much in it. Jonathan said Birmingham got deeper and deeper. Brought the pressure on themselves sometimes. Brownhill and Hackney in before the window, says Gavin. Look, we definitely need more quality in the centre of the pitch. Trev says the Brum fan is deluded. Have you had your bins collected? On that note, before we cause an argument and any fight start in the chat, thank you for watching, everybody. Like I say, we're aiming to get 300 likes on this video quickly. As Mark, have we learned last season, reference transfer targets, Town chase them and then the deals don't get done and we lose out on other potential targets. That's what seems to be happening. But yeah, cheers for watching, everyone. It's a long old one this morning, 40 minutes. 300 likes. Hit subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Share it with your mates. If you're a Brum fan, share it with your Brum mates and get involved in the comments. VAR wouldn't have reversed the penalty. They would not have reversed the penalty. It's a penalty. You can cry all you want on your Saturday morning into your fry up or your cup of tea. Look at the score in the paper. It's 1-1. Did we deserve it? No, we didn't, you know, but we move. We move on to Bromley on Tuesday night. I'll be there. Yeah, I'm at Birmingham. I'm at Bromley, not in the town end because I couldn't get a ticket, so I'm sitting in with the home supporters. No colours. Looking forward to the game. Ticking off another ground 85 for me, and then obviously Southampton, the big home game next Sunday live on Sky, and then we obviously go to Preston, then we go to Derby, and Ben says crying into their spam sandwiches. ITFC mad says O'Shea should have closed down Stansted with the goal, made the decision for him just standing on the line. I think he was a little bit caught what to do. He didn't know what to do. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I could stay here all day and chat, but I need some breakfast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for hitting subscribe. Yeah, like, share with your mates, share with your Birmingham mates, and we will see you on the next stream. Hopefully there'll be some transfer news soon. Please, we need more players, Mark Ashton. Get the job done. Season tickets have already come, Mike D. Got ours yesterday. So, anyway, cheers for watching. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you on the next stream whenever that happens. But turn on your notifications bell, so when we're live, you know, and you can come in here and you can watch. But, yeah, cheers for watching, and all the best. Thanks very much.